As part of this POC, I'm going to talk more about technology and some standardization that's gone on rather than a pure product pitch. Product pitches are available over at the booth. Ladder. Okay. So there has been work going on within the IETF around the standardization of service function chaining. So work has been going on there, and to date there has been work on defining the problem statement, which is now published as an RFC, and also there has been an architecture document also published as an RFC. So what I'm going to do today as part of this POC is talk about three different things. One being some of this service chaining using some of this work. The second is application-centric policy in a service chain environment, showing service chaining of course, a WAN optimization device into the environment as we go there. So just very quickly, there's going to be a lot of screens flying by. So this is a TCP dump of the encapsulation that's part of the standardization. And the interesting thing from this demo is going to be this application ID here. That's there, 274. That's going to change based on the application. So for the quick of eyes, they can follow along and look for the change of app ID there. My reference architecture that I'm using today consists of a client talking to a server across a LAN WAN, and then I have two blocks here, SteelOS service function chaining. It's a packet processing engine that has the WAN optimizer shown there as virtual steelhead 6 and 7 subtended off it, and I've also thrown in a dump bridge just so we can actually see some encapsulation and make this a bit geeky. So diving into the SteelOS service function chaining here, I have a set of micro service functions being shown there. First stage from the right is the classification, where the flow is identified and DPI is used to generate this app ID. And then pushing it out with NSH encapsulation out to that dump point where the annotated packet is changed into a packet on the wire with that app ID, which we'll be able to see. Subsequently bringing it back into this packet processing stage where I'm doing app statistics. This is a service function that is collecting application statistics based on that app ID. Thirdly, I move into a policy stamper stage, which is running this policy of if the application is HTTP, we switch to service chain tree. If its app ID is SSH, and service chain tree, as you see, traverses through the WAN optimizer. If its app ID is SSH, we go on service chain 4, which doesn't go through the WAN optimization, and then there's a default rule of just go through the default chain. And then there is going to be, the demo is going to have a number of log files, so log files off the service function chaining. We're going to have TCP dumps and some other stuff showing up here. And in true cooking fashion, I'm going to run this, I'll attempt to run this. Where's my play button gone? Okay, there we go. To minimize time, okay, we've 2.5 minutes here. So what I've just got here is a cheat sheet where I'm showing the application, the hex ID and the decimal because TCP is dump, and then the policy we're looking at with a number of screens going through here. So this is client to server. So I'm going to do a ping first of all to show connectivity. So we have a ping done. Then the TCP dump stage, we're going to see there the app ID of 135 is being shown there. Then the log file is showing an app ID of 308, 309 with a PAT ID of 3. So we're maintaining that policy for ping, staying on the default PAT. Next one we're going to do then is kill the ping and open up a HTTP session, client to server. Okay, so the HTTP session is running client to server. Here we're seeing the app ID has changed to 297, which is the HTTP app ID, and you notice there PAT3 is still being used. So again, that is sticking with policy. Just trying to capture it again there. So then looking at the TCP dump, we see a hex of 129 for the HTTP being identified and encapsulated there. And again, that's staying with the correct policy. Now, the HTTP is still running, so I'm just bringing in the WAN optimizer here, and you can see there is an active TCP connection. That is that HTTP session. I'm just going to close everything down again now. And set up for the last piece, which is an SSH, which I'm going to do server to client. Now with SSH it should take a different path, so we should be going path 4. So you notice here that the connections are gone now since we closed down the TCP connection on the WAN optimizer. So now I'm going SSH in the reverse direction, and again we see an app ID of 274 in the TCP dumps. In the service function chaining, we have a path change to 4 with an app ID of 6228, and then we're seeing that that's staying on 4. So that basically is my demo. Thank you very much.